You know, you just I tell you a story. Back times, you know, when you're talking here, this is a very casual show, folks. As you can, anybody that's listening or paying attention or watching, we do a very casual show. I mean, we talk a little bit about everything, but nostalgia is one of our subjects today. I remember when I was a kid, we had a buddy of mine, Mike Orlando, myself, Charlie Chinney, Joe Monteleone. One time we're walking on the boardwalk down in Seaside Heights area, and as we're walking down the boardwalk, we see these kids jumping over the railing of the boardwalk onto the sand. This is at night. I said, and so Mike says, what a wonderful thing to do. That looks like fun. So Mike decides he's going to jump. The railing's about 3 feet high. So Mike's going to jump. He takes a running start. He jumps over the rail, and all we hear is, holy crap, as he's falling down. Well, he happens to hit a part of the sand where they dug a big trench. So instead of being 3 feet over the rail and another 2 feet to the sand, it was at a drop of about 12 feet to the bottom of the sand. He hit that thing, thud. We looked over, and all we heard, Mike, you okay? And here's what you heard back. I didn't see the hole.
Oh, I remember we used to take the bus down to Tom's River.
Yeah.
And then from the station, have to walk over the bridge into Seaside, because the bus didn't go over the bridge.
Oh, that's right. Well, the days I was there, the bridge was a wooden bridge.
Oh, yeah?
A clackety wooden bridge.
Ooh.
I mean, it was the long bridge. There was 2 bridges. One went to Pelican Island, was the long bridge from Tom's River, and then from Pelican Island to Seaside Heights was the shorter bridge. And it was only 2 lanes, and you could barely pass each other.
Ooh.
It was made in the days when the cars were very thin, you know, the cars for the 20s and 30s. And as time went by, and it was in the 50s, you know, that bridge, they finally replaced it in the 60s when they replaced it with the bridge that goes over.
Yeah,
But,
that's the one I remember walking over.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, you couldn't. There was no space to walk on the wooden bridge. There was like a little bump before you hit the railing, you know, just for the tires.
But I remember the police used to set up at the foot of that bridge on the Seaside side, and they'd pull the cars over and, you know, check you out, see what you got in the trunk.
You know, it's funny. They did that a lot. You're right. They used to do that a lot. If they saw you were young kids, that's what they do. They pull you over looking for beer.
Yep, if you had a hot rod, you got pulled over. If you were a kid, you got pulled over. Yeah.
Well, you know, people don't realize that when a cop pulls you over, a lot of times, sometimes he's pulling the vehicle over because of the way it looks. If you got a red Corvette, your chances are the cops are going to hone in on you.
Yeah, I had a yellow one.
They'll hone in on you on that one too.
Yeah. I had a '73 Stingray.
Ah.
Yeah, beautiful car. Ran like crap.
No, really?
Oh yeah, those vets are awful.
Well, that year they were. They were.
You know, that was the car though. We rode that car all over the place.
My buddy, we were going down. One time we came down to Florida in my buddy's car. He got a brand new at the time, '65 Super Sport Chevy.
Ooh.
With the 300 horsepower and the 3 deuces, you know, and it was a 4-speed stick in those days. And we drove all the way down to Daytona, 3 of us, me, John Giordano, and Joe Monteleone. And on the way up, we said to Joe, no, on the way down, Joe, you can drive a stick? He says, yeah. Well, the kid never drove a stick before. We found that out after he went from 0 to 70 in first gear, and he grounded into second.
Oh, man.
So we got him back in the back seat of the car, and John and I shared all the driving back and forth.
Oh, man, that's just grinding.
Oh, did he grind that stuff? Well, we both ready to take a nap. We hear, and then I said, oh, jeez.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah,
Rotate.
Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, we used to take road trips all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
we used to take a lot of bike trips from New Jersey, from where we lived in Union City. We used to go up to Edgewater, and then we went up to George Washington Bridge a lot. Palisades Interstate Parkway.
And we used to go up to 9W.
Yep.
And just take 9W past Tarrytown, past the Tappan Zee Bridge.
We used to go to a place inside of Rockland County, and it was a place called Scotty's where we could drink. We were under 21 at the time. Ah, the days, the old memory lane. Well, here it is. John Sotolar and myself, Dennis DelleFave. We're on memory lane right here on Speak Out Florida. By the way, if you would like to speak out, guess what? You can give us a call, and the number is located right somewhere on your screen. I have no idea where, but if you look at it, you'll find it.
There it is, 561-228-4020.
Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. You finally put it up. Good. Yeah, there it is, 561-228-4020. And just shoot it back and forth between the name of the show and every once in a while you do that. That's nice, John. You're such a good production producer.
I'm learning.
You're loining.
I'm learning. I'm getting better.
I love that book there. What was that? The Screwing of Mr. and Mrs. Joe America, a book by Michael Lemire.
Yeah, Michael Myers does a show here 3 days a week. And that's his book, and he approaches some different topics. Matter of fact, I've got a copy here.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got a copy right in front of me here.
And who's the publisher of that book?
It is, hold on a
There
second.
should be a publisher on the inside there.
Author House.
Who?
Author.
Author House.
Yeah.
It's a self-publisher.
Yeah.
It's a self-published book. That's what I'm going to do with mine, I think. I got 4 publishers that might be interested in it because they like new authors.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not really a new author. I've had other publishers before, publishings before, but there were magazines other than stories, other than a book. But they consider that new author.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, it's a very good book. He breaks it up into five chapters. One's about illegal aliens. One's about taxes. One on education. One on the law. And then he does a summary where he wraps it up.
Oh.
So yeah, it's
How many pages in the book?
Let me flip in here. About 90.
90, okay. So it's a short read, no big deal.
Yeah, but it's actually it's very good. The format is very good.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to get to a point and get the real detail on it, this will give you a nice summary.
Well, sounds like an interesting book. It's a short read, so it should be easy to pick up. What's the delay now on the screen as I see it? It looks like it's about 3 minutes.
That depends on the computer.
Oh, I see.
And,
This computer here is not of the fastest.
No, that one in the room, that's the next one to get replaced.
Oh, okay. Would be nice because right now I'm looking at myself, and I'm looking at myself about 5 minutes ago,
Right? Yeah. But you look younger.
Well, it's true. I am younger. I'm older now as I'm speaking, but younger in the picture. That's good.
Yeah, you're 5 minutes younger.
Love it. Love it.
Not a second over 3 minutes.
I could use all the youth I can get. I can use all the youth I can get. It's one of those tough years we're having. Tough years. By the way, Rosetta's Barbershop is doing very, very well. It's a funny thing how the economy changes, but we're doing okay. A lot of people ask me, it's a small business, and I use myself as a guide of what's happening in small businesses. We are just a little bit under 0.25% behind last year. And I consider that doing well in today's day and economy. What happens is that when people, when they go get a haircut, instead of coming every 3 weeks, they come every 4 when times are tough. Women, instead of getting their hair colored every 4 weeks, they come every 5 or 6. But that's what's been happening. Mm-hmm. And, the volume hasn't dropped that much. It's dropped, but not significant enough that people panic or things of that nature. So we're having a good time. We enjoy the shop. I use the shop as my kind of Cracker Barrel place because, I do a lot of practicing for radio in the shop. I ask people questions, what they think about the economy, what they think about the president, what they think about Dick Cheney. Should he be committed to an insane asylum or not? These are questions.
Prosecuted.
Prosecuted. The guy, look, you want to know something? Here's the way I feel about torture, and torture being done by the United States. Number one, it is illegal, based on the Geneva Convention, for anybody to torture anybody in such a way that it leaves them mentally or physically impaired. But we all know that 99% of all the countries do not even adhere to anything at all when it comes to the Geneva Convention, when it comes to prisoners of war or torture. So should the United States be the only one that adheres to these rules, or should they be the ones setting the example that if they torture people here, that because we torture them, they'll make it worse for the people they capture that are our people overseas? Well, it seems to me that they still will torture our people whether we torture or not. I don't think that it has anything to do with how we treat people. I think those people could care less how we treat their prisoners, and they're going to treat our prisoners as badly as they want, no matter what convention there is out there, or whatever international law there is. Now that I said that, let me look at the moral point of it. Should this country torture? Is it legal? No, it's not. It's not. They say waterboarding. If you've ever had water poured on you for a certain amount of time, that it gets into your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, you feel like you're drowning. It's almost like you want to die, or you feel like you're going to die. It's psychologically, it takes by the way, they use waterboarding as a training technique for Navy SEALs. They put the Navy SEALs under that kind of technique in order to see how much they can take. And a lot of guys drop out because of that. Mm-hmm. So is it a tough torture? Yes, it is. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Dick Cheney, through his lifetime, he appears to be, from what I've seen, what I've heard, a very mean-spirited individual. Not a nice guy, as first glance is concerned.